Stop manually doing accounting. This automation is a game changer. So for me, I run a business where my accountant every month sends me a list of invoices that I need to find. Like a detective, I have to go through and search through my email. I have to log into a bunch of different platforms just to get the invoice, which is very tedious. And it happens month after month after month. But I have found a way that you can automate this. So you get all the invoices that are sent to your email directly in an Airtable, and you upload it directly into a, let me go over here, invoice database on your Google Drive, so you don't have to go searching and you can immediately get the invoices and send them over to your accountant or into the accounting software. Many different variables here. So sit back and relax and let's enjoy this one together. Now, if you want to copy the entire workflow that I have created here, and if you want to copy this invoice system inside of Airtable where you can just duplicate it, I have made it easy for you to just download and copy and paste that inside of my school community. So you can just go in here, go inside of copy my automations, and you will find the download links to copy my blueprint and to copy my Airtable. But of course, I'm going to show you how to set this all up from scratch for free as well. All right, so I have created a new workflow here that I'm going to start by having a Gmail module. The reason we have Gmail here is because I use Gmail and pretty much every invoice and receipt goes directly into my email. So what we're going to do is to add a watch email trigger. I'll show you how you can set this up to be custom. So say you only want for August, you can only take that specific date or date range and actually just get the invoices from that. Now I'm going to select a folder. I'll select the all here because I'm going to search through all my mail. And then the only criteria that I want to have is in all emails, and clicking on the show advanced settings, I'm going to have a search phrase. The search phrase here is going to be invoice or, it's important to have a space and big or here, receipt. There we go. And that is going to tell it to either search for invoice or search for receipt. Then we're going to set the maximum number of results for this testing phase to be 5. This is just because it's a lot easier to do that than to just go through 100. I did 2,000 just before filming this video, so that's pretty cool. Now I'm going to select a date here. This could be just an arbitrary number just for doing the testing of setting it up. I'll start with December 1st because I know that I have some data that is available for me to use in this automation. So if I do this and if I click on run, I will get probably 5 or so emails back. I'm going to stop it when we just have 1. So as you can see, it has run and we got an operation. Couldn't really finish it, but that doesn't matter. Let's go to the next step, which is going to be to set up the Airtable. So in the link inside of school, you can obviously just copy and paste my exact table, but I have added these fields like email, subject, content. So you get the entire content of the email as well, and you can do shift space to really get all the data, which is really cool. And you get the date attachment, which is a really interesting feature inside of Airtable because you can actually upload images, documents, and other files. I also have a link to the exact email. So if I open that, I go directly to email. Hopefully there isn't something I need to blur on this. Perfect. So, and then I also have a Google Drive folder, so I can directly go to this here, which is the, not this one, the folder here. Awesome. So now that you have the Airtable, it's pretty easy to set up. All you need to do is to add a new module here. Make sure that you're going to create a record. And once we've done that, All we need to do is to apply these specific things that we are going to do. So I'm going to do invoice here. I'm going to select this AI made invoice system, and then I will just update the things that we have from Gmail into these things. I will do the email itself. So this would be from the email. You see here, sender email address. Subject, you would have be the subject. Content would be the text content, and we're going to use the HTML content later in this step as well. We'll do the date is going to be a date here. Attachment, we're going to keep blank. Link, we'll use the link that goes message link. Folder, we're also going to do later when we get into the drives. That is perfect. Now that we have this super simple one set up, you would actually get pretty much all the links to all the emails. So if that's all you want to do and just get a database of the emails that has an invoice or receipt, you're finished right there. But of course, we gotta make it better. So let's go to the next step, which is going to be a router. Router, basically, all we do with this is to segment emails that has an attachment versus the ones that don't have an attachment, because these are going to be done separately. So when it has an attachment, what we're going to do then is actually, gotta cheat and look at my own workflow here, just upload it directly to Drive. So we're gonna upload file, and here we're going to choose an account. I'll choose the biz account here. And by the way, for make.com and watching Gmail, it is a little bit of a process to set up the Gmail account because Google doesn't have a really straightforward OAuth. And we show a video inside of school to basically in 5 minutes, you can set up your own connection with Gmail. This doesn't happen for if you don't have a at gmail.com. So if you have a custom domain, like for example, this domain here called aiandy.ai, that one works perfectly fine. But I've also set up the gmail.com, which is a little bit more of a complicated setup. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the folder ID. You can see that it is in the top here. When I go to the link in the top, it's basically this last part here. I'm going to copy that, go back into my automation here. You can see that I set up the Google Cloud here. I'm going to go back and I'm going to go directly into the folder ID. This is going to probably find it. Doesn't even matter. We're going to make the file name that we're uploading. I'm going to actually call that the subject. And the data is going to be found from the attachments. Now, one very important step here, and you see the data here. So that's the data we're going to send over. Now, one very important step here, I'm also going to just check here. We don't need any of that. One mega important step, like I said, the reason we're doing this is because one of them has an attachment, one of them doesn't have an attachment. So if you don't set this up, it's going to get an error because it will say, oh, there is no attachment, I couldn't do the thing. So we're going to set up a filter where the condition of this is exists. So here you see, we're going to do the condition. We're going to go down to attachments. And here, say this one was empty of the content ID, file name, and things like that, then it would not send it to this route. So since this has a file name, we know that it has an attachment. So that means that if this exists, we're going to send it through. That's awesome. And the same goes for the other ones. If they don't have an attachment, it's going to go directly to the other one. I'm going to set up a filter here where we add the condition. And that is attachments. File name is don't exist. All right. Now, once we uploaded that to Google Drive, everything else is pretty simple because for this in itself, we literally have uploaded the exact invoice that we want. So I'm going to use the upsert a record. So upsert, the word that nobody has ever heard about before, but is a very, very powerful. I'll set up a base, which is the invoice, made invoice system. And then we're going to do the attachments that I showed you guys earlier. When selecting table 1, I'll go directly into record ID. We're going to get this from the Airtable. This one is very important. In the attachments, we're going to have file URL be the file URL here. So that could be web content link or web view link. I'll do the content link. And then we're going to do the file name. I found one error when I ran it for 2,000 different, or a limit of 2,000. So I'll keep the if empty. Airtable will generate the name automatically. I'll just keep it blank because I like that. When it comes to the folder, we can do it like this. If you want to have the exact folder, we kind of need to run it before we get this, but it should be this one, parents. And then before this link, you need to add everything that's before the unique ID. So in the top of the URL here, I'm going to select all of this, copy it, go back into make again, and then behind the actual link itself, I'm going to paste this URL slug. All right. Then we don't have to do this. I have tried to do some other things as well. I'm going to just keep it very, very basic. And then I'm going to show you what happens when I run this. And by the way, if you run it, you might have to go back again. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to choose where to start. Once again, emails from a specific date. And then we're going to do December. And then we're going to run it again. So now it's going to run. It's probably going to find something. Then it's going to update a record. It's going to upload that file to Drive. And then you can see here in the bottom, these 4 things just happened right now from December. So we actually updated a couple of more here. We can see that this one is updated. It does look like we didn't get the files from this one because it doesn't actually have a file. And this is what I'm talking about here. You see attachment, invoice. This one, bundle 3, didn't have anything. So you can see that we get a little bit of an issue there. That's what we're going to fix next. So, but to recap, right now, we have actually gotten a receipt. So I'll show you one of the receipts. This one was an attachment in the email. But as you can see here, this one here from Lemon Squeezy, which is a make.com automation, didn't have a receipt. And because they didn't have a receipt, we can't really get the invoice other than to take the email, basically click on Command P on the email, but done it automatically with Make, of course, and upload it exactly like if it was a PDF attachment. So that's the entire next segment here of the text parser, PDF, and all that. This step is really awesome. If you haven't tried using HTML before, I'll show you a really, really awesome thing right now. The first thing we're going to do is to have a formatter. This is a replace formatter or a text parser. And the pattern we need is, because the HTML is going to be in, I don't even know what it is. It's like some sort of other value. It's not a JSON helpful value or something. We need to make the pattern be a double quote. And then we need the new value to be a backslash and a quote. Don't ask me why. It's probably because there's old code and new code, and we need to convert the old code to new code. Just going to double check if I have set up everything correctly. Yes, yes. And we're going to use the global match because it's going to do everything and not just one. The text, we're going to have the HTML content. So just click on that and click on OK. Then we're going to send that to PDF Monkey. PDF Monkey is completely free for 200 operations per month. Very awesome free tier. I checked out a bunch of other ones, and there are many, many ways to get around this, but this one was the easiest that I could get. So the format or the module generate a document is the one that we're going to use. As you can see here, what you basically have to set up is the PDF Monkey with a template. The template itself is extremely simple. Let me show you. Here I am inside of pdfmonkey.io. I have created this add a template, and it's literally as simple as this. HTML body, and then we basically going to paste this HTML, which is a JSON that we're going to send through, and that is going to populate on the right side here. And yeah, so it's super simple. That's how that looks like. So when we go into the new scenario here, we need some dynamic data. Here is the actual formula that I used for this. When we go inside of PDF Monkey, it's literally just a couple of brackets and the HTML being the only thing that we're going to send through this JSON data. So I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to choose the text here. The 14 is going to be the text we get out from the parser. And then we're going to click on OK. So technically, that has turned the PDF or the HTML that we got into an actual image that kind of looks like, let's see if I can find an example, kind of looks like this. So this is kind of like we're just Command P or printed an email, and it looks so good. So that is where we are now. And then we need to use the get file module. That is I'm going to just write get file here, HTTP, and we'll click on this. It's a really nifty module. If you haven't used it before, you can use it to download a lot of things from the internet if you have a direct download link. We have it directly here. So we're going to click on that and then click on OK. Next, we're going to upload that to Google Drive. So I think actually I can just copy and clone both of these. I'll copy both modules and paste them right in here. So go down, and then we'll use some different data here instead. So folder ID is going to be the same. File name, we're going to click on this HTTP get a file. And that's basically it, I believe. I did try to create a new file name and also to do the convert a file, but it didn't actually do much, or it actually hurt quite a bit. So don't try to convert it into a doc. It's going to look very narrow. And then when it comes to the actual Airtable connection, all we're going to do is to have the file URL actually be the web content that goes out, not from this upper left hand. I'll show you a little bit of a secret here as well. If you really want to see what's going on, you can see here that when you hover over this, it actually kind of warps in and out. You can see that, and that's how you know you're getting the correct one. So if you're going on the, it actually isn't able to connect to the top one because it's routed, but that's how you know that. The link we're looking for is the web content link. That's the one that we're going to get. File URL, file name, we can keep that empty. Again, link, and then folder, we're going to just do the folder we actually did already. So the only thing we're going to upload is the file URL. I think, did I do this correctly? Let's just double check here. I think the only thing we're going to do is just to upload that file, and that's going to be the URL. Also, it looks like I did the folder ID here at the end, but it doesn't actually matter. It does matter. It does matter because we're not going to do it on the other one because it's going to get routed. So let's keep that in. I'll add the here is going to be the ID. So that's going to be under space, no, parent, and then the first one here. And that is looking all right. But does it work? Let's see together. It looks like we actually copied one of these filters over as well. So I'm not going to do any filters below here. Let's unlink it and link it again. I'll just zoom in here, click on unlink like that, and then select again. It seems like we have the filter on. I don't want this filter on. Okay. And then it's gone. Now, remember to save. I'll save it here. And then we're going to run once again. I'll click on run. Maybe it doesn't have much data left to work with, but we found one. This one had an attachment with it. This one didn't have an attachment with it. A perfect example to see. So now we're running through the second one, and the third one is already on its way through the automation. Do we get another one? That was 3 different ones. And now you can see that in our Airtable, we have updated the last 3 here, and all of them have their specific attachments of a invoice. So if I click on this, you can see that I have this invoice from Make Itself. How awesome is that? And yeah, I can just directly upload it to your accounting software of choice. And it has helped me save so much time and specifically do 80% of the work. And then there's just a couple more that I have to hunt for myself. But I'm trying to do that as well to get the last 80%. And that is going to be for another video that's connected to Wise and to Stripe. So we can kind of get some automatic invoicing there as well. So you now know how exactly to turn your emails into invoices, upload it directly to an Airtable base, and upload it directly to a Google Drive. I hope this has helped you. And if you want more help with automation and set up even more custom things, I highly recommend checking out the School community in the link in the description down below. We are in there making some incredible automations that really can help save a lot of time and reclaim back your evenings. That has been today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.